This is a CTN Update special report on election 2022. I'm Steve Erickson. Voters in Coon Rapids headed to the polls on Tuesday to cast their ballot in several local and state races. 3 seats on the Coon Rapids City Council were up for re-election. In the mayoral race, incumbent Jerry Cook secured a 3rd term as mayor, receiving 63% of the vote. His challenger, Sharon Compton, received 36%. Cook says he takes pride in this city and looks forward to helping lead the way for another 4 years.
I love being mayor. I love Coon Rapids, and I want to continue just doing the best job as I can as the mayor. I try and represent the city at events, when I meet with new businesses, when I've been the president of the North Metro Mayors for 4 years. And it's all about, I think, bringing Coon Rapids out front and center.
Turning to the race for City Council in Ward 3, Sean Novak came out on top with 52% of the vote. Pablo Hernandez Jr., who was appointed to that seat 1 year ago, received 47% of the vote. Novak, who's run for City Council before, says he's happy to finally get to serve.
Going all the way back, my parents were very socially active in this city. And that's where I grew up. That's how I grew up. They were giving to the city left and right to the day they died. And the fact that I'm now able to do that at this level, it hasn't really sunk in yet, but it's heartwarming.
Moving to the City Council race in Ward 5, another new face has been elected. Brian Armstrong received 71% of the vote, while Jonathan Housechild got 29%. That seat was open due to Brad Johnson running for county attorney. Armstrong is no stranger to the city, having been a volunteer police reserve officer for many years.
There's a lot of inner workings to how the city operates, and a lot of stuff you don't see either in the council meetings or day to day. And on the campaign trail, I met a lot of very, very interesting people, and a lot of people have a lot of ideas. So I'm going to have my work cut out for me.
Moving now to the Anoka County races, all 7 seats on the county board were up for re-election due to redistricting. In District 1, incumbent Matt Look retained his seat with 66% of the vote. Kevin Landry, who dropped out of the race but his name still appeared on the ballot, got 33%. In District 2, incumbent Julie Brostad ran unopposed and easily retains her seat for another term. In District 3, incumbent Jeff Reinert received 57% of the vote, staving off a challenge by Cindy Hansen, who got 42%. In District 4, County Board Chair Scott Schulte easily defeated his challenger Raymond Zoran, who received 27% of the vote. Moving to District 5, a closer one, incumbent Mike Gamache will retain his seat after capturing 53% of the vote. Tracy Strombeck received 46%. In District 6, Blaine City Council member Julie Jepson will take over the seat being vacated by Robin West after getting 56% of the vote. David Clark got 44%. And finally, in District 7, incumbent Mandy Meissner easily defeating her challenger Joseph Sturdivant 70% to 29%. Moving now to a big race a lot of people were watching Tuesday night, the open seat for county sheriff with the upcoming retirement of James Stewart. It was a close one, but in the end, former Coon Rapids Police Chief Brad Wise defeated Anoka County Sheriff Commander Paul Lensmeyer 51% to 48%. It was a hard-fought campaign for both veteran law enforcement officers. We spoke with Wise just moments after the final results came in.
I got to thank the Coon Rapids cops. Many of the cops for Coon Rapids helped me in this race, and they did so out of the goodness of their hearts because they believed in what we accomplished at Coon Rapids, and they know what's going to be delivered for Anoka County, and I can't wait to get started.
Turning now to the other big county race, current Coon Rapids City Council member Brad Johnson received an overwhelming 64% of the vote and will become the next Anoka County attorney. Wade Kish, who's currently the criminal division chief in the Anoka County Attorney's Office, received 36% of the vote. Tony Palumbo is retiring at the end of the year, which created the open seat. Johnson, who will follow in the steps of his father and grandfather, says he's looking forward to this new role.
It's very humbling. my heart is bursting right now because of all of the people in Anoka County who placed their faith in us, not just for public safety, but for good government. And that's our mission that we have to carry out now. So I look forward to the opportunity, and I'm humbled by it. But I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take this on.
Due to redistricting following the 2020 census, the entire state legislature was up for re-election this year, and it was a close one locally in the race for state senator in District 35. Current Republican State Senator Jim Abler pulled off a win by the narrowest of margins. DFLer Carrie Rayrauer, a current Coon Rapids City Council member, lost by just 186 votes. In the state representative race in District 35A, two familiar faces in the state house that went head-to-head due to redistricting. In the end, DFLer Zach Stevenson won with 52% of the vote. Republican John Heinrich got 47%. And in District 35B, DFLer Jerry Newton, who currently serves in the state Senate, will be moving to the House after a very close race. Newton received 51% of the vote. Republican Polly Madison got 49%, or a difference of just 232 votes. And there you have it, a look at the city, county, and state races impacting voters in Coon Rapids. For complete election results, just log on to the Secretary of State's website. All of the winning candidates will be sworn into office in January.
We are here today, 10 years later, to thank our supporters and honor our staff and our participants.
A special celebration inside the Anoka County Courthouse this month as Anoka County Veterans Court marked a decade of accountability and compassion.
My name is Jenny Walker Jasper. I've been at the Veterans Treatment Court from the beginning. Clearly the most important thing I've ever done in my 21 years on the bench.
Sentence of law judgment of this court, they will stay adjudication of guilt, place you on supervised probation for a period of up to 5 years. On the following
CTN did a profile on the Veterans Court back in 2017 when the court was celebrating 5 years in operation. Just like civilian court, there's a judge, prosecutors, and defense attorneys, but punishment is replaced with rehabilitation.
These are people that we've asked to go to war for us, and they come back, they have issues, and we're trying to help them. A lot of them are PTSD issues, a lot of them are alcoholism issues, all that are related to combat or service.
Since November 2012, 122 veterans have gone through the court. 84 have graduated, which is a 69% graduation rate. The recidivism rate is just 12% and is defined as the conviction of a non-traffic misdemeanor or higher offense within 3 years of graduation.
I told you my story because I want you to understand that this court is where hope comes alive and new opportunities and possibilities are created for veterans like myself.
Paul Evangelist, who served in Vietnam, is the Peer Mentor Program Coordinator. For the past 8 years, he's matched mentors with veterans.
What I do is I recruit veterans that might be interested in being a mentor. I interview with them to determine if they and I think that they are appropriate.
There are currently 14 volunteer mentors who are veterans themselves with an honorable discharge. Once again, giving back to their country by helping other veterans struggling to find their own footing.
I think a lot of them, they see it as a chance not only to deal with the issue that brought them to court, but also giving them the help for lifelong issues that they've been having and hopefully want to end.
Good morning, happy to see you.
As students arrive in the morning at Adams Elementary,
Morning, guys.
school principal Ann Herlovsky's there to greet them.
Morning.
That's one of the best pieces of my job.
Good morning, friends.
Checking in on students as she goes.
Just to kind of check in with them and make sure what I can do to help support them.
Herlovsky supports students at school while also serving her country as a member of the U.S. Navy.
So I commissioned into a direct commissioning program with the United States Navy in 2004 as an intelligence officer.
It's the best of both worlds for Herlovsky, who's considered as an active duty member of the Navy while pursuing a full-time civilian career as principal. She grew up in a military family.
My dad is a retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant who had like 35 some years. I just knew from a young age that that's what I wanted to do.
This past summer, she spent 6 weeks in England doing intelligence work. The deployment was in support of the Ukraine crisis.
It was a wonderful opportunity to go spend time there this summer. And I'm fortunate that the school district is very accommodating.
While Herlovsky was in England, she received a promotion.
Just this past July, I was promoted to commander.
Good.
Anne says it's important for students to learn about Veterans Day in a kid-friendly way.
Because many of them don't have a connection to the military. And if they do, it might be what they see on TV.
Adams Elementary will celebrate Veterans Day with an all-school assembly, as is the yearly tradition.
Our choir will sing some songs and then just kind of talk about what Veterans Day is and why it's something that we need to acknowledge.
We've been seeing a lot more RSV than usual.
At the Elina Clinic in Ramsey, pediatrician Dr. Eric Barth says he's seen more cases of respiratory syncytial virus in his patients.
Patients are presenting with fever, cough, congestion, runny nose, headache, those types of symptoms, and it's really hard to know whether we're dealing with COVID or influenza or RSV.
According to the Minnesota Department of Health, the number of patients hospitalized with RSV in the Twin Cities jumped this past week. The line in dark blue shows 75% are infants less than 1 year old.
Right now, the hospitals are full of patients with RSV. So the children's hospitals in particular have very low capacity, and they're operating a lot of times with limited staffing, which makes it even more challenging.
Typically, most children have been exposed to RSV by the age of 2. There are no vaccines for it. Doctors say the COVID-19 lockdown likely had a detrimental effect.
Now we've got kids who, again, have not had exposure to these viruses over the last couple of years, and now that we're returning to more normal activities, now they're getting hit with these viruses, and it's hitting them pretty hard.
To protect ourselves, we need to cover our cough and wash hands frequently. Doctors with young patients are bracing themselves for the cold and flu season with a triple threat of influenza, COVID, and RSV.
Here's a quick recap of the Tuesday, November 1st City Council meeting. The meeting started off by recognizing 3 promotions within the Coon Rapids Police Department.
I, Adam Jacobson, do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Adam Jacobson was recently promoted to Captain of Professional Standards. He was hired as a patrol officer in 2005 and has served as a detective and a patrol sergeant. Interna Kim and Dan Freiberg are the newest sergeants on the police force. Kim was hired as a patrol officer in 2005 and has also been a detective and a canine handler. Freiberg started as a police officer in 2012 and most recently worked at the department's retail substation at Riverdale. Congratulations to all 3 men. Despite our mild fall weather, we all know winter is on the way. A reminder that winter parking restrictions are now in effect until April 1st. That means no parking on city streets between 2 and 6 a.m. and also after a snowfall of 3 or more inches until the street has been plowed curb to curb. Public Works crews appreciate everyone's cooperation. 2 Coon Rapids roadways will see year-round parking restrictions following action by the City Council this week. Parking is now banned on the east side of 125th Lane, which is located just north of Main Street and west of Shenandoah Boulevard. Another new ordinance bans parking on the south side of Mississippi Boulevard by the Mississippi River Regional Trail near Uplander Street. City officials hope the change will eliminate site obstructions and increase safety for pedestrians who use the trail. And that's a quick recap of the November 1st City Council meeting. As always, you can find the full meetings on cable or the CTN Coon Rapids YouTube channel.
Construction's almost done on the Bunker Hills Dog Park. The improvements, which began in September, include paving over the old gravel parking lot. There's a new concrete sidewalk which leads up to the dog park entrance. Inside the large dog park area, there's now an 8-foot wide paved trail loop which connects up to the Bunker Hills Trail system. Both the big and small dog areas have an ADA bench pad where visitors can sit and relax. Anoka County Parks awaits a few finishing touches, like installing the gates for the new corral area and putting up signs. The dog park should reopen later this month. These are the first significant improvements to the park since it first opened in 2013. The Bunker Hills Dog Park is a joint venture between Anoka County and the cities of Coon Rapids and Andover.
Ready? 1, 2, down, up, squeeze.
A nonprofit business that caters to youth interested in cheerleading celebrated its first anniversary this summer.
7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up 1.
AMP Athletics moved into its new home in the spring of 2021 and was up and running that summer.
We moved in the middle of the pandemic, so that was definitely interesting. It definitely had its own little set of challenges on top of just starting an organization to begin with. The community came out and really gave us the support, and the interest was there, and it's just been growing ever since.
Pike, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, turn 7, 8.
AMP offers weekly classes for kids ranging in age from 18 months to 18 years. They also offer competitive teams at certain times of the year, along with clinics, camps, and open gyms.
And the first thing they ask is, how young is too young? I'm like, if they can stand, I can work with them. Nice.
Hammock grew up doing gymnastics and switched to cheerleading in college. What started as a part-time gig 2 years after college turned into a full-time job this year when she became program director.
I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
AMP's mission is to provide the highest quality instruction at an affordable price. The nonprofit is governed by a volunteer board of directors, and day-to-day operations are run by an administrative team. In addition to program fees and fundraising efforts, they rely on donations to keep the doors open.
It's been really nice because I think for a lot of the athletes that come in and maybe dance hasn't been their thing, gymnastics isn't quite their thing, this is a really good medley of the two. And so they feel like they have a place, they feel like they have a sport that fits them, and you can just see them light up when they come in. It's awesome.
It's a way to make it work in a tight space and try to achieve our goals.
Dozens of people turned out Thursday night for the final open house for the Highway 610 and East River Road interchange project. The city is still waiting for MnDOT approval for the layout, which proposes a northeast loop as the off-ramp from westbound 610 to East River Road. An on-ramp from East River Road to eastbound 610 would also be constructed to complete the interchange.
This is the design we're moving forward with. So if it falls into place that MnDOT agrees, then we're just solely waiting for construction dollars. Then we know we're building this thing in this location without a doubt. Now how do we afford it?
The project is estimated to cost between $30 and $35 million. If the necessary funding is secured, the earliest construction could start is 2024, but more likely 2025 or 2026. 6 single-family homes and 1 business would need to be acquired to construct the interchange. In addition to improved access, city officials say the project would help support economic growth in the industrial park, improved safety, and help first responders heading to emergency calls on the highway.
Let's see a little bit more of the angling down of that club face.
Golf Tech started its golf instruction operations at Bunker Hills back in 2013. Now, for the first time, the center's getting a remodel.
It's nice to have a bit of a brand refresh and get us up to date.
As you enter the building, you'll notice the new carpet on the floor for golfers who want to work on their short game.
And we're now going to have indoor putting green, which is great for our putting lessons, so we can showcase some of our putting technology now.
The 2 bays have also been updated with new carpet.
We used to have like a black rubber flooring, which was a bit problematic.
In addition to the new flooring, they've installed LED can lighting, which is meant to enhance the 3D technology used by Golf Tech.
The clarity of the images should be a little bit better with the new lighting, plus the addition of the black carpet.
In the lobby, there's still more work which needs to be done. Golf Tech hopes the reopening of the center will be just a couple of weeks away.
Our days are numbered outdoors, so it'll be really fun to get back inside and get back to work with all of our students who are eagerly anticipating the reopening.
Hundreds of families came out to Rocky's Pumpkin Patch in Sand Creek Park on Saturday. Lots of boys and ghouls dressed in Halloween costumes stood in line as organizations, youth groups, and clubs handed out candy to trick-or-treaters.
Trick or treat!
And there were so many fun things to do for everyone. Getting a picture taken with Rocky was near the top of the list, and then there was the pumpkin patch, with hundreds of pumpkins to choose from, all for free. With a record turnout of over 3,000 people from Coon Rapids and the surrounding area, this year's event will be remembered for years to come.
We are in desperate need of an upgrade here.
This week, officials from Blaine and Anoka County invited lawmakers from the state and federal level to take a closer look at a dangerous stretch of Highway 65, which cuts through Blaine.
5 of those intersections are the most congested, dangerous, and deadly intersections in the entire 7-county region.
The Blaine Police Department averages 10 calls a day for accidents on Highway 65.
We are on track to eclipse over 3,500 calls this year alone on Highway 65 in Blaine. Okay. That's staggering.
The City of Blaine, Anoka County, and MnDOT have been working on plans to improve access and safety on Highway 65. The improvements would include overpasses at major intersections, which would also improve traffic flow.
Right now, the traveling in the entire corridor from Ham Lake to Spring Lake Park during the busiest periods can take 40 minutes. After these are built, 10 minutes.
There are 3 alternatives that were developed with this project. We're steamrolling ahead. There's been money secured already. There's still a ways to go, and we're going to be ready if that money hits the ground.
The reconstruction project has secured $23 million to date of an estimated cost of $163 million. Funding applications have been made at both the state and federal level to push the project forward.
This project is a significant project, and there are many phases to it, but it's critical that it starts now. It's critical that shovels go in the ground here in the next year.
New home, lots of cardboard.
Judy Watkey is a frequent visitor to the Coon Rapids Recycling Center.
I've been coming to the recycling center since the beginning.
In fact, 2 decades ago, during her first visit to the recycling center, she was featured in an article and photo in the Star Tribune.
This is the jacket I was wearing then. I'm somebody who doesn't like to throw things away.
Judy isn't the only one who's conscientious about what ends up in the garbage. Plenty of local residents and small businesses use the recycling center, which is now in the midst of a big expansion project that will continue into spring.
If you don't need to come in and it's a little crazy and busy in here, it's going to be easier for you to park outside and enter through the side gates.
Carts are available for those who need them, and you can still drive into the center if you have big, bulky items. You're just asked to slow down and watch for pedestrians.
So there are spots along the way. So if you come in the yard for certain items, there are designated parking spots for those items.
The project includes the renovation of the main building that houses the cashier and office area. Also, a 130-foot-long building will be constructed on the east side of the center. It will house bales of recycling materials, styrofoam, and a garage, along with a reuse room.
We get paint, we get a lot of materials that come in here who have a lot of life left in them, or they're brand new and never been used.
Oh, it's really cool. When I go by a garbage can, a dumpster, it just breaks my heart to see things in there that I know could be recycled, that we could be reusing for good, and just keep it out of the landfills.
A little construction won't stop Judy Watke from using the recycling center in the coming months, and she hopes others will continue to do the same.
When I showed up today with a trunk full of recycling, I had no idea you would be here, but it just touched my heart that you're here with a camera telling the story of just how this place is growing and will provide for even more people to bring their goods in.
It's just great to be back in the schools again.
On Tuesday, students at Eisenhower Elementary got a special visit from Sparky the Fire Dog, along with Coon Rapids firefighters.
Part of your escape plan, you need to have a working smoke detector, right?
They shared their Fire Prevention Week message, which reminds us that fire won't wait. Plan your escape.
So that's why you need to practice your escape plan and get efficient at it so you can get out of your house under 2 minutes. That's the key. Get out of your house in 2 minutes.
This was the first time the firefighters were back in the schools since the COVID-19 pandemic. Student volunteers got to put the escape plan into practice.
The reason for that is smoke rises. It's lighter than air. That's why our smoke alarms are at the ceiling.
I really think the modeling, bringing in, equipment, door, window, things like that for kids to actually see and just really kind of go through experience and have it be modeled for them is really, really effective.
What number do you call in an emergency?
If I practice my escape plan with my family.
This week, the firefighters will take their fire prevention message to every elementary school in the city.
So we like to have everybody go to their meeting spot, which is a fire hydrant, a tree, or a mailbox, something that does not move.
It's an important message they'll be sure to bring home.
They'll be talking about it for weeks.